Hello, welcome to the free video for the night of September 26, 2018. My name's Danielle, and tonight we're going to be talking about technology. So, overall, I'm just going to go ahead and look at XLK, the technology basket. First of all, I'm noticing a duo of setups here, really a trio, because we have a nice daily squeeze, 195, as well as a 78-minute squeeze on this ETF. I really like the combination of this setup in addition to the fact that XLK has had a really nice solid trend really since, let's go back and see when that shifted. Really since right about here. It's going to be May 4th. It's called Cinco de Mayo. Um, really nice. Tech has been strong. Tech, discretionary, and healthcare have been my favorite sectors to trade. And when I get a setup like this on the larger ETF basket, there's a couple different things we can do. Well, first of all, we can just trade XLK, right? For someone who maybe doesn't like a whole lot of movement, or maybe if you're working throughout the day, you don't need the stress of trading something like Google. This is a great vehicle for you. You know, you can just buy XLK, you can buy options on XLK, and try to play this for a move into really about $77. I like it right about there. Maybe even into 77, 75. Um, Overall, right now, you know, we're sitting on top of the 21 EMA. I think you could buy it here. I also think you could buy it lower, really even down to the 50 period simple. You can see how XLK will come down, dip right below that 50 period simple before it climbs higher again. So if you get in here and it continues to fall to the 50, I personally would just add again at that level. As long as you know you're still in a squeeze, you're still consolidating, that is really a good spot to add. So that's going to be between about 73 and a half and where we're standing right now, which is about 74.61 is good for an entry. Trading up to about 77, let's call it 78. How could you do that? Well, you know, you could buy XLK, or I honestly like going out into November. The reason why I'm going to tell you is because we have the run into earnings. So we're gearing up for the bid that typically comes into most of our tech names. So, you know, you have people buying up these stocks in anticipation of positive earnings, which pushes the stock prices higher going into the earnings report. This is a phenomenon we love to trade here at Simpler. Every earnings quarter, particularly in tech names. And, you know, we're going to walk through a couple of those names as well, but, you know, you can just play it here, right in XLK. So these are the two options I'm looking at. You know, it's a little bit, the bid and the ask is a little bit wide, honestly, looking at that November series. You can try and, you know, hit the mid on that, or you can just come down into a series that has a tighter bid-ask spread, which is honestly my preference because, you know, if you're trying to trade a bid-ask spread that's $3, $4 wide, you're going to be paying up. So even though we normally like to go with the monthly series on stuff like that, due to that bid-ask spread, I would come down here into about 37 days out, and I would grab some of these. You can do, if you like the even number better, you can try to go with, no, I'm sorry, not the Delta 74s. Honestly, I would just grab this one right here. The bid-ask spread, yes, it's a little bit wide, nowhere near as bad as the ones in the monthly series. I would try to bid for those around $3 and call it good. If you don't like the idea of playing XLK, we have a move setting up here in Google. Now, Google isn't my favorite just because, you know, there's a lot of volatility in Google. The overall trend isn't as solid as something like Microsoft. However, we have a setup here. We've got earnings on October 25th. You have a really nice area of support. You've got a ready aim fire buy, and you've got a 195-minute squeeze. So, anything like put credit spreads going into that earnings report, long calls, especially out of the money for Google, that would absolutely work. Another one is going to be Apple. Now, Apple is setting up with a daily squeeze. So, when you have XLK in a squeeze and Apple, setting up for some pretty nice movement, not to mention the fact we also have the NASDAQ in the squeeze. So, playing this, looking at the, earnings date in October and looking to buy some long calls in Apple for that earnings series. It's going to fall in this series right here. They're a little bit expensive if you're going to buy the in the money calls, but honestly, you could buy the out of the money calls on this too and try to get both your IV rise as well as price increase going into that earnings date. So there we have it. You've got a trio of tech ideas for a run into earnings with a triple squeeze. So honestly, I think it looks really good. Keep an eye on it. None of this has really triggered today, but the setups are here. So I'm going to be watching for I'm going to be watching for a trigger in all of these setups in the trading room. If I do happen to get into any of them, I will let you know. Thank you very much. Hope you have an excellent evening, and I'll see you in the next video.